Hello everybody out there in YouTube land, this is Tyler. This was a very interesting video request. This is going to be about when the narcissist refuses to accept responsibility for their actions. How to handle it. Now, I will tell all of you that has been in this situation, rather it might have been a friendship, relationship, or maybe you probably had dealt with this with a family member, whatsoever. We all know that a narcissist is only doing everything of what is beneficial to him or her. And then when it doesn't go their way on how it's supposed to be done, or when somebody has done them wrong out there, or that particular narcissist has screwed up, or karma tends to find that narcissist out of nowhere and lay it on their ass, then that same narcissist refused to accept responsibility for their own actions. And then most of you probably have witnessed and experienced it. They are taken so far on blaming it on you. And you know the reason why is because a narcissist do not want to look at himself or herself of all the bad things of what he or she has done in the past in order to change all of those things. This is what you call a lack of accountability. This is what you call it. And narcissists, man, a narcissist is real good at pointing fingers and playing the blame game on everybody else or on a person who probably didn't even have no participation or wasn't even there at all, but just in the midst of that narcissist sitting up there complaining, rather than taking responsibility for their own actions. And I'm going to tell all of you how to handle that. And that is, you don't put up with the mess. Whenever a narcissist, every time that you turn around, want to complain about what has happened to him or her, and you probably was the one who seen it, and that same narcissist refuses to accept responsibility for their own bad actions, you have to stand your ground and say, I'm not putting up with your mess. You need to look within yourself and change it. If that narcissist wants to argue with you, then you're going to have to shut the door behind you if you live with that narcissist, or you're going to have to make an arrangement of changing that friendship or that relationship. The main thing of how to handle it is you don't put up with it. Because when a narcissist know that you ain't going to put up with it, then it makes him or her mad. And you know why? It's because the narcissist cannot play that manipulative game towards you, and you already see it from a mile away. And you're shutting it down like a defense on the football team. Whenever that the narcissist can't get his or her way with you. It's just like a family member I heard has said before. You're going to have to take that shit somewhere else. And that's what you're going to have to do with the narcissist. Whenever that person want to take it as far, blaming it on you, and you know for a fact you didn't even have nothing to do with it, but that narcissist refuses to take responsibility of his or her actions to make changes or to make an apology. We all know that a narcissist will not apologize for no apparent reason, for nothing. They always love to blame. They always want to get mad, always want to get upset. Narcissist is good at doing that. And especially when doing someone else wrong and thinking it's all right, but when it comes back to him or her, this narcissist can't take it and then want to play the blame game and then want to complain about it, rather than looking at their actions and taking responsibility for it in order to make a change. I tell you once more, stop putting up with their junk. Stop putting up with their bullshit. It's just that plain as day. And a lot of you people say, it's hard, I love that person. Love ain't that deep for you to go that far for that person to drain the living mess out of you mentally and emotionally and physically. You need to self-love yourself, to look after yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically, and to move on with your life. Or you might be living with that person, say, no more, no more. And then you make your move in silence on getting up out of there. Because I tell you one thing, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to go. A narcissist hates being ignored. To the teeth. A narcissist hate it. A narcissist love attention. Can't stand being ignored. And you know why? It's because they crave for trying to manipulate you into their own selfish and self-centered game, or how they play on you in order to drain you mentally and emotionally. Stop playing the game, folks. Stop playing it. I'm going to go on ahead and cut this video short, and all of those who do not know anything about my podcast, you can click on the description link down below, and it is for free, and you can listen to it for however long you want to. Have a great and awesome day and evening.